Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to all my students. So today, I would like to teach a new chapter on your Latihan Insaniah or soft skill training, soft skill practice on a new chapter that known as problem solving skill. Okay, so actually problem solving skill is one of the essential skill that you need to have, okay, in order to survive in this very hard situation. Okay, so first and foremost, okay, so we will go to our learning outcome. So this is our slide and my slide, that is problem solving skill. So we will see the learning outcome for today. Okay, so we have three learning outcome. So first and foremost, introduction to problem solving skill. So you have to know what is problem solving skill first. Okay. Second is stages in problem solving skill. So there are some stages that involve in a problem solving skill management. Okay. And lastly is key skill in problem solving skill. In order for you to tackle a problem, and you need to have a set of skill that help you to solve the problem. Okay, so only three. So first and foremost, we will go to introduction to problem solving skill. Okay, actually there are so many things about problem solving skill. Okay, so actually we all are problem solver. It is a nature for a human to solve their own problem, because if we stay in one place and we are not solving the problem, of course, the problem will become a stress for us, a burden from us. Therefore, all the human, all the people, all the person are a natural problem solver. But the thing that make different is how long or how quick, how effective someone solve their own problem. Okay, so we solve the problem in our work, at our home, and our school. That is what the most place that have a problem. Okay, so problem range from a complex to mundane, or a complex to a simple problem. Not all problem is complex, not all problem is simple. Okay, so the variation of problem needs a few skill. If simple problem, how you can tackle it. If the problem is a big problem, how you can tackle it. Okay, so for example, a simple problem for a student is maybe you don't know where to lunch. That is simple problem. Maybe you don't know where to sit, or a presentation is a simple problem because you can tackle it immediately. But how about something that needs skill? For example, to figure out how the computer software, the printer won't work. So you need to have a new skill to tackle that kind of problem. So if the problem need skills, then it can be classified as a complex problem. Okay, so it is important for a student like you, all of you, to develop a skill to solve the problem, because right now in the work life you will have a problem almost every day, and how you tackle the problem will shape you into a better person. Okay, so we need to learn first what is the definition of problem and what is the definition of problem solving skills. Okay, so actually that is problem solving skill. Okay, so the statement below explain the definition for both problem, this is problem, and on the left side is problem solving skill. Okay, so Oxford Dictionary define problem as two. Okay, first is a doubtful or difficult matter requiring a solution. Is if the thing require a solution, then automatically it is a problem. Okay, it's something that difficult, something that burden you, something that make you feel not easy, something that not makes you feel not relaxed. That is problem. Okay, so second is something that are hard to understand and accomplish or deal with. that is problem. Because some problem is you familiar, some problem you are unfamiliar, some problem is new, some problem is something that you have faced before. So that is problem. How about problem solving skill? Okay, so problem solving skill is it is an ability to identify the nature of problem. You have to identify the nature of problem first, then you break it down. Okay, whether the problem you have go through before or the problem is something that new, you have to deconstruct it first, and after that you come out with effective set of action to address the challenge, because you have to solve the problem. Okay, if you want to go and move on with your life, you have to solve the problem. So that is problem solving skill. Okay, so the process second is the process of working through detail of a problem to reach a solution. That also a problem solving skill, a simpler way to define it. Okay, but I like this last definition that is by National Council or Supervisor of Mathematics, state that problem solving is the process of applying previous acquired knowledge. Because in order for you to solve some problem, you need to have you need to have skill, you need to have knowledge. If you do not have the knowledge and you don't have the skill, you have to rely to someone else. But if you have a good problem solving skill, you do not have to rely for someone else. You can solve it by yourself. Okay, so previous acquired knowledge to new and unfamiliar situation. So some, just like I said before, some of the problem is new. Some of the problem is something that you are familiar with. So that is problem solving skill. Okay, so next we will talk about stages in problem solving skill. So I will show you one by one how to solve a problem, because not all problem you can tackle it immediately. Because just like I said before, some of the problem is complex, some of the problem is simple, some of the problem is mundane, some of the problem is something that you are familiar with. So this is the stages for solving a problem. Okay, so actually there are 5 stages in problem solving skill. Okay, we are start with the first stages, that if we have to evaluate the problem. Okay, if you want to know what problem you are facing, you have to evaluate it first. Either it need a different skill, if it is it something that involve people, something like that. Okay, we will discuss it more after this. Second is managing your problem. Just like I say in the previous slide, okay, previous 2 slide, if you want to move on with your life, you have to manage the problem. You cannot just live with the problem. It will make you more stress. Because if the problem you face, you not solve it, it will bottle up in your mind. If it bottle up in your mind, sometimes it bursts and make you feel very crazy. Okay, so third is decision making. Okay, because in order for you to solve the problem, you must come out with a decision. But not all decision is suit for a problem. Okay, so fourth stage is resolving the problem from the decision that you have made before. And lastly is examining the result, whether the decision that you make on the third stage can solve the problem that you evaluate in the first stage. That is the important of the last stage, that is examining the result. Okay, so we will go one by one for the stages in the problem solving skill. Okay, so first and foremost, as I said before, evaluate the problem. Okay, you have to know what is the nature of problem. Okay, if the problem is come from yourself, if the problem is come from your surrounding, if the problem is caused by someone else, you have to know. Because if you want, you have to evaluate the problem, because you have to tackle the sources of the problem. For example, the problem is you don't know where to lunch. Then you open your Google and you search for it. So that is evaluating the problem. Okay. Second is maybe you don't know what clothes you want to wear to go to college today. That is your problem. So what is your solution? Maybe you can see for Google for to find some inspiration. That is evaluating the problem. Okay. Second is formulating the question, where I want to go lunch after this. So if you ask yourself, then you have a clarification on what the problem that you are facing. Okay, C is gathering information systematically, go through internet, maybe something like that. Okay, collecting and organizing data, condensing the summary information and defining the desired objective. For example, just like the problem that occur before, you don't know where to go to lunch. Okay, so the objective in your objective for your problem is you have to find a way to lunch. Okay, so how you want to find a way to lunch? So you have to manage the problem. So how you want to manage the problem? Just like I say in the evaluating the problem, you have to search in internet. Maybe that is one of the example on solution to solve the problem. You use internet to find the information. So breaking down a problem into smaller, if you have a big problem, for example, you have to go to Kuching tomorrow. You have to go to Cebu tomorrow. Okay, so what is the problem that you may occur? Okay, for example, you have to book a Grab. That is one problem. Second problem is you have to buy a ticket, but you don't know how to buy ticket. That is also one problem. You have to arrive on time. That also a problem. So you have to manage it one by one. And a smaller kind of problem. That is how you want to tackle a problem systematically and effectively. Okay, so using a technique such as brainstorm, lateral thinking, and consider option. Okay, so if you want to go to Cebu, you have a lot of options. So what options are available for you? So you choose buses, you choose airplane, you choose maybe express boat to go to Cebu. So that is option, and that option will help you to solve your problem. You have to search for option. Okay, analyzing this option in greater depth. So out of all the options that you have for going to Cebu, which is more effective, which is more cheaper, which is more easier for you? Okay, and lastly is identify steps that can be taken to achieve the problem. So out of this option, which option will be the most best for you, the best option and the best solution for you? Okay, that is managing your problem. Okay, so after that, you have to decision making. Okay, you want to go to Cebu, you have 3 options. Okay, so you have to do a decision which option that you will take. You cannot take all the decision that you have made before. Okay, so you have to make a good or best decision between these 3: express, bus, airplane to go to Cebu. That is your problem. Okay, so deciding between the possible option for what action to take. Okay, deciding on further information to be gathered before taking action. For example, if you go by bus, it will take 8 hours. So the problem that is a long hour. Second is if you take airplane, okay, it's maybe only take 15 minutes to go to Cebu, but it's really expensive. Okay, lastly is express. Although it's quite cheap and also maybe the journey not taking a lot of time, maybe that is the best option going to buy express. Okay, so you have to know what is the best decision among all the options that you have before. Okay, and lastly is deciding the resource. Just like I said before, it between your time, your money that you have, what is suitable for you. Okay, your resource, for example, your money, your time, your comfortability, something like that is your resource. Okay, and second last is resolving the problem. Okay, resolving the problem means you implement the action or decision that you make in the decision making. Okay, and after that, providing information to stakeholder or delegating the task. Maybe you ask your mother to book for you an airplane, or maybe you ask your father to send you to go to terminal, something like that. Okay, and last but not least, you have to examining the result. Okay, because you have to, if the things or if your action that you take before is fail and not good for you, you can learn from your failure. And if your decision is success, then you can repeat the decision that you made before if you have a problem that will come in the future. Something like that is very easy. That's why the problem solving skill is something that necessary for you and also will benefit you for a long term. You have to try everything. Okay, if you do not want to face your problem, if you fear enough to face your problem, you will not move forward. Okay, and last but not least is key skill in problem solving skill. Okay, problem solving skill need a lot of skill because it's not easy to think creatively, it's not easy to think critically, it's not easy to take a risk. Okay, that's why you need to have all of these skills. Okay, first and foremost, researching skill. Okay, some of the people do not know how to use Google, some of the people do not know how to use internet. Maybe their research skill is very low. That's why in order for you to tackle some problem, you need to know how to do research. Okay, maybe the research option that you have is internet. Maybe you can ask your friend. Maybe you can networking. Maybe you can you can call the AirAsia for some information about your transportation. That's why researching skill is very important in problem solving skill. You need to have a lot of knowledge. Okay, if you lack of knowledge, your problem, you have to rely for someone else to give you idea. Maybe that is also your research skill. Okay, second is risk management. Okay, because all the problem is come with a risk, with opportunity cost. If you take airplane going to Cebu, maybe the risk is you have to pay more. Okay, if you take by bus, the risk that you have to go through is you have to have a longer journey. That is the risk. Okay, and you have to manage the risk intelligently because you don't want to bear a lot of risk that will make you feel lost. Okay, third is emotional intellect. Okay, so many people right now, students especially, when they have some problem, they cannot cope with the problem and it results with stress, a lot of stress. That's why you need to have a good emotional intellect. Okay, so that if the problem come to you, yes, you can solve it calmly. Okay, you can solve it calmly and relax. You must relax first, then the idea will come by itself. Okay, that's why you need to have emotional intelligence. Okay, four is team working. Sometimes you cannot tackle the problem by yourself. You need to rely to someone else. Maybe someone else will have an idea on how to resolve your problem. Maybe you can go to your family. Your family also can be considered as a team because you are in a family. Okay, maybe you can go to your friend. Your friend also can be considered as a family because your friend can also be considered as a team because they are the one who work with you, something like that. Your colleague maybe. Okay, that's why there are one proverb that saying that many head is better than one head, something like that. Okay, five is creativity. You need to have a lot of creativity to tackle a problem. Maybe if you cannot go for decision A, you can go to decision B. Maybe you can go to decision C. That what decision C. Okay, that's why you need to have a lot of creativity. And lastly is actually it's not emotional intelligent. It's actually about decision making skill. Okay, decision making skill is very important in problem solving skill because a more decision that you can make, the more option that you can take to solve your problem. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoy this chapter. And if you have any question pertaining this chapter, yes, you can just ask me or WhatsApp me anytime. Okay, thank you so much.